There we go. Hi everyone, my name's Jackie Wilson. I am co-founder of Positively Empowered Kids, and today's interview is with the wonderful Morgan Brame. I've only just recently connected with Morgan after seeing a video of his that he's just released not long ago through a lovely lady called Christina Mitchell. So I'm going to introduce you to Morgan because I'd love you to get to know a little bit more about him because he's really blown me away. So hi Morgan.
Hiya.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm definitely fulfilled with everything that's happening over the past few weeks.
Yeah, so how long ago is it since you actually released this video? And tell us a little bit about it as well.
Okay, well, I've always wanted to get involved with raising awareness for mental health issues, and I've been working with the charity in my local area called We Are With You, and they are a nationwide charity, but I sort of work with my local branch. And they messaged me because I'd done some fundraising for them in the past, and they said, will you make us a really short video, just tell us about some strategies, tell us about being kind to yourself. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to do this, I might as well do it big style. So that video was only released actually today, but I released it myself to my sort of friends and family on Facebook last Monday. But it went so much further than that, completely unexpectedly. Woke up the next morning with 1.3k views and an absolute mental, like it was insane. So then that's how we met, because the video just got shared around all over, and now apparently I'm just more than I ever thought that I would be in concern with this video.
Yeah, so the video it was really interesting because you talked about how young people's voices aren't heard, and
Yeah.
you're passionate about getting that out there. And I think that really struck a chord with me because that's what I feel is really important.
Yeah.
With what we do in Positive Empowered Kids, we're moving towards, and we've had a discussion with you about how we can make that happen, because we want to hear voices. We want to be able to support young people better by listening to them. So it really resonated with me, and your message. And you yourself, you've struggled with mental health in the past. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, the most difficult thing is it is talking about it in the first instance, but then it's getting the right intervention, because when I struggled with grief and a whole array of things for a long time, and it actually took me it must have been about 15 months in total to be put on a waiting list to be seen by a professional. And that's just, it's mind-blowing really, because I was doing some research, and according to Young Minds, the average waiting list for appropriate intervention is 10 years. And that is just, it makes you stop and think, well, what the heck is everything happening in between? Like, the only way that you're going to get seen basically is when you've reached a crisis point, and that is, it's just not really good enough, is it? I mean, there's no other way of putting it. So I think everyone has a duty to get as much less waiting time, to get appropriate intervention and much easier access, because yes, there's things like online chat rooms with professionals, but there's only so much they can do without it being actually effective and sort of solving your problem. Even though there's not really a cure, you need to solve the problem, because at the end of the day, 10% of England young children have mental health difficulties. And when this is a government statistic, when you sort of narrow it down, it's 3 in every classroom. Yeah. And that is like, it just makes you feel sick, doesn't it? And it's just something that really needs to be focused on in our world, to be honest. And
Definitely.
It's something that I really want to focus on.
What's your take on education in schools around this? Do you feel, because obviously you're at that age where you've gone through the school system not too long ago, doing your A-levels now, what do you feel the provisions like within school of being able to learn and develop and understand how to navigate adversity, to build our resilience? How much is put into school, do you feel?
Well, I think especially with high school, we all know it's difficult to talk to young people because, well, the main thing is the stigma surrounding mental health. I mean, in my school especially, whenever people, when people came to do assemblies, when it was like, oh, you can come and visit us in the mentor's office, everyone was like, oh yeah, like we'd go and do that. But when you think about it, in any school really, for a young person who's not spoke out about their feelings and their situation in here before, for everyone else to see them walk towards an office where they know there's going to be a problem, or someone comes and picks them up that knows from the safeguarding team, I don't want to use the word embarrassing, but that's how it does feel, and that creates even more anxiety because you feel like you've had your voice completely taken away from you because of the stigma, which is why actually I believe that assemblies from external organisations are the best, because it talks to that person without talking to that person.
What do you think about, for me, I really strongly believe at some point we need to have a curriculum subject in how to manage and understand ourselves fully. We have, we learn English, we learn maths, we learn our sciences, so we know how to add up, we know how to read and write. But what we're not taught fully on a day-to-day basis is how to navigate ourselves, our emotions, our thoughts, and to be able to grow a strong mind. Would you see that would be something that would work within the school system as a young person, if you were in a classroom situation where you were constantly developing how to have a successful mind, to be able to navigate those challenges? How would you see that working? I think it's something
I am on the same page as you, because like we're having a massive increase in PSHE, SMSC, all this sort of thing, but there's sort of a lot of ambiguity surrounding it. There's only so much lesson that you can say, you're okay to talk, these are the numbers you can call if you need to talk, but we don't always need to talk, we just need to know what to do. If you're anxious, you don't need to see a counsellor straight away necessarily. It doesn't have to get to that point. You just need to know the strategies, which is why I genuinely always say to people, you just get a life coach. Honestly, get one. You don't have to have weekly sessions, but if you have a problem, you can straight away go to them and you feel so much better, because it's like someone deals with your problems for you, but without it having an impact or a burden on them.
I think what I learned within my coaching training, because I've trained as a counsellor, I've trained as a coach, but in my coaching training, it was really interesting how counselling was something where you sit in your kind of doo-doo, you sit in there in your stuff, and you're kind of going through it and you're in that emotional state, whereas coaching is about looking at your resourcefulness, how to look forward to where you want to get and what action you can take with the resources you've got, which are far beyond what you realise. Build yourself up as a person to look at how capable you are and what potential you've got. And that, for me, like you say, a coach can do that. It's still a new arena for people to understand, but it does help you to kind of move through that. Some people do need that therapy. It's important for them to talk it out, whereas others that I've worked with just don't want to talk about it. They want to look at how they can move forward. We're all different people. That's really good to hear. So assemblies, really understanding the strategies to manage anxiety, depression, anger issues, all those sort of things would be more useful than here's where to go, here's who to see. You think
completely, because everyone, I sort of feel like when people have a problem, they label it straight away and then they get help, and that is perfectly fine, but sometimes you need to just think in your own head and think, okay, how can I actually solve this problem? You're more than entitled to get help, that's not what I'm saying. It's being able to have the strategies within yourself to be able to cope with it until in the meantime, because as I've said, the waiting time to get help, it's just going to peripatetic, downward spiral, and then you know, you're left with a lot less than you should have.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you're taking action in that. You know, you've got a project that you've just released. Do you want to tell us a bit more about your Bumblebee project? We'd love to hear about
Yeah,
that.
so I have just in the midst of the success of the video, I developed my own campaign called the Bumblebee Project. I'm actually wearing a little bumblebee necklace right now. It's all about believing in yourself and being happy. And we have a Facebook page, the Be Happy page, Instagram page, the Be Happy page. There's a website that's set up, and it's all just focused around my mission. But more than it being a campaign to raise adolescent, specifically mental health awareness, it's more of a hub for lots of different people to join together to provide this service. It's not, I don't want it to be confused with, you know, you can come to the Bumblebee Project for counselling and guidance, because it's more of this is a network of people who all have the same ethos, and this is like the pathways you can take, rather than, okay, we're gonna help you, because obviously I'm no professional, and I'm not claiming to be. I'm just doing my bit, really.
You're passionate. I love it. I absolutely love it. That's great. You know, it's great to see. So this is Mental Health Awareness Week, and something obviously your video was meant for, and now off the back of that, you've got this Bumblebee project. And the theme is kindness. And I know you mentioned that you talked about that in your videos. So in terms of your take on kindness, what is it? What is your take on kindness?
Well, kindness, I feel like there's a lot of, again, ambiguity around the word kindness, because kindness is such a broad term, when really kindness isn't about, you know, doing your good deeds. That is amazing. Like helping other people and being a good listener, that's amazing. But you've also got to be kind to yourself, because the mind is so fragile. Everyone knows how fragile it is. And everyone experiences, you know, anxiety, especially in these times. I mean, I would be more surprised if you weren't anxious at the moment. So it's all about being kind to yourself, because your mind is so susceptible to all these influences around you, but it's also like a sponge. So if you soak up all the kindness that you're giving to yourself, you'll feel so much better, and you'll feel a lot more able to deliver kindness to other people. So it's all about self-love and looking after yourself. I mean, there's sort of a common phrase, how can you love someone else before you love yourself? And that, it just hits the nail on the head for me, really, that one.
Totally. It's kind of like we are our own very best friend.
Yeah.
But we don't treat ourselves like that quite so often. A lot of the time, so many of us, we can beat ourselves up with the words we use. You're not good enough. How can you do that? You're so stupid. All of that inner voice stuff.
Definitely.
But would we actually say that to our best friend? And
exactly.
You know, it really is, like you say, the number one thing. We need to enhance this self-love, this self-acceptance. So I absolutely resonate with what you're saying. First and foremost, we've got to care about us so that we can then ripple that out. So I love that message. Really powerful. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been a very insightful chat. It's always great to speak to young people, and I know we're going to be working with you a lot more, because you're on the same page as us. And it's going to be wonderful, because I know that even just today we've just spoken to Morgan, and he is going to become our first youth ambassador of Positively Empowered Kids. I'm very excited. Claire and I are very excited, because you know, everything you're about is what we're trying to work on. It's you know, we want to work with young people to get their voices heard, to get everything right in terms of getting the provision out there for young people to really grow and really believe in themselves. It's the same message as what you can do to grow those healthy, thriving minds, to be able to navigate life more easily, to realise their huge potential. And I can see that the work you've done with Christina and the work you've done yourself, you really are stepping into who you really are. And it's just so wonderful to see a young person do that and be passionate about passing that on to others. So really appreciate your time and can't wait to work with you more.
Yeah, me too.
We'll speak to you soon. Bye
Thank
for now,
you.
Morgan.
Bye.
Bye.